In this video, we're going to talk about method overloading, which is what happens when two methods in the same class have the same name. We've seen this before. Remember in Stage 8, the sentence counter lab? There were two substring methods in the string class. If we passed in one parameter, the substring returned started at that index and went to the end of the string. If we passed in two parameters, they specified a range that the substring should be taken from. With this example, we can see why they're named the same thing. They're both getting a substring. But the question is, if they're named the same thing, how does the compiler know which one we want to call? To answer that question, we define a method's signature as its method name and the order of the types of its parameters. As examples, here are the signatures of the two substring methods. Notice that the signature does not contain the return type or the names of the variables in the parameter list, just their types. With that definition, we can limit method overloading to ensure that the compiler knows which method we are trying to call. Our rule is that every method must have a unique method signature. When the compiler sees a call on an overloaded method, it sees the name of the method and the types of the arguments we're passing in. It matches those to the signature of exactly one method, since signatures must be unique, and that's the method it knows that you want to call. Let's do a few examples to see how this really works. Suppose we've built a class named Silly, and its methods overload the name Silly method. For each one of them, this is what their method signature is. Since they're all unique, we're allowed to make these declarations. In this example, the argument, 3.2, is a double, so the method signature it will match is the second method. With one integer argument, this is the method this code will call. And with two integers, this call will refer to this method. This last one might seem a little different, but it isn't. Its argument is an int, but the result is being stored into a double. Remember that the definition of method signature does not include the return type, so the fact that it's being stored into a double doesn't matter. One integer argument means it'll call this method. The way we've defined method signature, it's important to notice that we can't add this method to the three above. While its return type is different, again, return type is not part of the method signature. Its signature is silly method int, which has already been used. Similarly, parameter names aren't part of the signature. They don't help the compiler figure out which method we want. So this method conflicts with this one because they both have the signature silly method int. So we couldn't add this one either. However, the order of the types of the parameters is part of the method signature. So if you look at these two, they both have an int parameter and a double parameter, but they are in the opposite order. That means that their method signatures are silly method int double and silly method double int. Since those are different, we could add both of these methods to our class. So, method overloading is when we give two methods in the same class the same name. As long as we make their signatures, their name and parameter type list, unique, the compiler will always be able to tell which one we want to call. Don't forget to subscribe.